Welcome to This Week in West Hempstead, sponsored this week, as always, by Stern & Spiegel, LLP, 516-873-1683. Let us solve your problems. And by Tiffany Dry Cleaners, environmentally safe pickup and drop-off in West Hempstead and surrounding communities, 718-309-5222. Here are your hosts, David and Norm. Take it away, gentlemen.
All right, and thank you, Dan and Norm. It's been another long week. And
a really long week. Lots happening.
Lots happening. You know, the heat is on. Back to school, so the kids, getting picked up by the buses, and
moms and dads celebrating all over the place.
Yeah, a little bit.
Place is buzzing.
Yeah, and certainly the lead story that we got to get into is the Capri Motor Inn and what was going on down at the Town of Hempstead. And of course, you can catch all of the video, and there's a lot of it on westhempsteadecho.com. But they had the second hearing this week. I was at both of them. They were pretty much like open and shut cases of hearing people from the community, hearing from the politicians. And in this case, in the second hearing, we heard from the lawyer and also from the manager of the motel. It all kind of didn't seem to make a difference because it seemed like there was a foregone conclusion that they were going to shut it down for what will be a year, including a tax lien on top of it, which again, I don't really know all the legal specifics of it, but it was a done deal, and that's it.
Yeah, the bottom line is that they think it's a nuisance, and they're going to shut it down for a year. They initially shut it down because of safety concerns, and that gave them a reason to padlock the motel. They don't want it in the community, and it's been an eyesore for them in terms of police amount of resources that's been having to be spent over there. So I'm not really sure whether motels are illegal. I mean,
it's a complicated issue because if it's a valid business with a valid license and they're paying their taxes, are there grounds? And again, there was all sorts of details involving having 2 arrests and whether or not that was all legitimate. But the problem is, again, there was no hearing, so there was not like the lawyer for the defense, if you will, was able to bring up and question things. It was just they stated what they stated, they did what they did, and that was it.
Yeah. So honestly, first of all, this is going to court.
I assume it has to.
There's no question in my mind. And second of all, look, I don't want motels where alleged drug addicts, alleged prostitution, I don't want this in my neighborhood either. But I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what do you mean you're hitting them with a tax lien? They've been paying their taxes, near as I understand. There's no question going on here that they've fulfilled their obligations.
No, I think the problem will be that they're going to shut them down for a year and still make them pay their taxes.
Yeah, and the expenses of all this stuff. I mean, it's just they're throwing the book at them, and again, it's complicated. So this is going to work its way through. There is no doubt about it.
No, I think at the end of the day, they're going to have to pay them something to shut them down and own the property. If that's what the town decides, they don't want motels in their town. And what are they going to do about the rest of Hempstead? There are towns within the town of Hempstead, parts of the town that have other motels.
Yeah.
They shut them all down?
One of the interesting pieces that were brought out was the fact that the Town of Hempstead was actually sending clients, if you will, to the motel for domestic issues or other issues.
If somebody was in legal trouble and they needed a place to stay.
Yeah, so they were getting monies from the town. It's all very complicated, and again, I sat through both hearings, and I still kind of shake my head as to what's going on.
Yeah, I'm bothered by government overreach here. I really am. I generally speaking, we don't get into politics here, but I don't like government acting in ways like this without anybody watching them, and I don't know where the legal benefit behind this comes other than them declaring it's a nuisance. And
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with this, frankly.
No.
Well, the Civic Association is behind them shutting it down. I mean, they have been a big proponent of this. We know that with the Courtesy Hotel, it was the Civic Association that shut it down, and now again we see the community is in favor of not having this in their midst. So
and that's a good thing. I mean, the community association is here to build things, but at the end of the day, what's going to happen in the motel? What's going to happen in the parking lot? Who knows?
We'll follow that up.
So anyway, going on to big stories, and this is a huge story. It's an over $200 million development by Heatherwood, which is I think it's a Comac-based developer, and they're knocking down the Wholesale Liquidators in that entire area, and they're building up this big rental complex. Pretty
It's
cool.
going to be a spectacular project. I mean, there's all levels of rental, from both studios and one bedrooms up to 3, and they also have townhouses that are being incorporated as well as some commercial. So it's going to be a big change.
It's going to be a big change. It's going to be a huge benefit of the community, but nothing's going to happen really quick. They still have to do abatements, and it's going to be, I'm guessing, at least, even by their own account, maybe 3-4 years until tenants move into this. So
it'll be 10 years before they complete the complete development. They're building it in phases. I guess as they rent it up, they'll continue to build. But we will see a difference.
Yeah.
We were out there for the groundbreaking. It was unbelievably hot. It really
Yes, it was.
It's a nice group of town people. A number of politicians were there. Keep an eye out because we have some nice video. We talked to some of the developing people, talked to Don Clavin, a whole bunch of others. More on that in just a few minutes. But I think this will be a good time for us to take a commercial break. So come back and join us in just a minute.
Tiffany Dry Cleaner is ready to handle all your cleaning, laundering, and dry cleaning needs. We offer free pickup and delivery Sunday to Friday in all communities. Give us a shout.
And welcome back. So keeping in this spirit of incredible, exciting things that continue to go on in West Hempstead, we had a bench dedication ceremony in front of Riesterers for Helen Duryea, who, after having met her and interviewed her, maybe I consider her the first lady of West Hempstead, and her family has been integral in the development of the community. And it was really great to see everyone come out, and Riesterers had this huge presentation, and they had waffles and ice cream, and it was really a great time had by all.
It's lovely when the community gets together, honors a senior citizen, maybe one of the longest living people to be resident of West Hempstead. Her father was a developer here. So yeah, it's a wonderful event.
Yeah, and so we have some other things going on. This week we have 9/11 coming up soon, and there'll be something at Halls Pond.
Right, so they do this every year. The Boy Scouts come, all the politicians show up, a lot of citizens show up to honor the people who were in the community who died in 9/11. They are memorialized on a beautiful piece of granite in Halls Pond, including a piece of the World Trade Center that was incorporated by the Civic Association. So yeah, if you have the time, please stop by. It's really a once-a-year event.
And I believe that's 7 p.m. this coming up Monday. Keep an eye out, or if we can find the dates.
It is at 7 p.m.
September 10th is a blood drive.
Yep.
And that's where at the Lakeview Fire Department. You can stop by and give blood there. I understand there's a shortage now, and so it's a critical issue for a lot of hospitals to have on-hand blood for when they need it. And sometimes, a pint can go for 2-3 people in an emergency situation. So please, if you have the time, stop by. It's a really worthwhile thing to do.
Really, really important, and it's an important community event, and show your support. So we still have the issue of Echo Pool. Still nothing going on. But at the groundbreaking ceremony with Heatherwood, Don Clavin was there, and Adam caught up with Don and was able to ask him some questions regarding the pool. And Don Clavin was very enthusiastic, and he felt that things were going to be up and running by the beginning of October. And I hope he's right.
Yeah, I'm not really sure I understood his interview where he said you needed 2 pools to be filled in order for the filtration system to work. But I don't think he really meant that. I think if he's telling us October's the date, we'll be watching.
Yeah.
I have to say, sitting on the other side of the camera during that interview, and please go watch it if you haven't already seen it, I am, to say the least, underwhelmed by his presentation, because we asked him the same thing we've been saying on this show for 3 months now, which is somebody come talk to us like, oh, no, we answer everybody, we talk to everybody who calls up, and we're like, we have called your office, nobody answered, we've called the Parks Department, nobody answers. God bless Mr. Clavin. I was not impressed by that response, because we know how much we've been asking about it and getting nowhere.
Yeah, I'll take it even one step further. I've been in touch with Councilman Muscarella's office. I asked for a formal statement. They said they had to run it through, I don't know, public relations or public statements, and we've heard nothing. Nothing.
Listen, bottom line is nothing's going on. We drive by the pool every day. We don't see any development, don't see any workers there. So the idea of hitting, an October 1st or early October date doesn't really seem realistic. So again, we're just not getting the answers. And I think that's going to wrap it up for this week in West Hempstead. I want to thank you, Norm. I want to thank you, Dan. Again, been a really full week in the community, and we look forward to bringing you all the happenings next week. Have a great weekend.
Stay cool.
Thanks for watching, everybody. As always, if you would like to sponsor our program, much like Stern and Spiegel and Tiffany Dry Cleaners, please reach out to us at sales@westhempsteadecho.com.